Okay, welcome everyone. Thanks for joining us today. We're going to be discussing how to personalize your emails with ease, what to personalize, and how to do it with Benchmark Email. My name is Natalie Slyman. I'm the Content Marketing Manager at Benchmark Email, and later on, Irene Martinez, our Training Manager, is going to pop in and show you some things in Benchmark Email. Before we get started, just want to let everyone know that if you have questions, you can add them to the Q&A section of Zoom, and we'll make sure and reserve some time at the end to get to those questions. And also, if you need to hop off early, we will be sending out the presentation deck along with a recording in an email after. So you'll see that sometime probably tomorrow. So don't worry. And we'll also send you some resources. So you'll have everything you need to kind of hit the ground running with some of these tips that we're going to share today. Okay. So I want to go over the webinar agenda so you know what to expect. We're going to be discussing some 4 key points: why personalization matters, the importance of understanding your audience, what to personalize in your emails, and leveraging technology for email personalization. And then, as I mentioned earlier, we're going to walk you through how Benchmark Email helps you personalize your emails as well. Okay, so personalization for your email marketing matters for various reasons. Number one, it enhances engagement. Personalization ensures that the message you're sending is relevant to the recipient's interests, preferences, or past behaviors. And using personalized greetings and content that speaks directly to the recipient can foster a sense of connection and trust. And by personalizing emails, marketers can avoid sending irrelevant messages to recipients. I don't know if you've ever been on the receiving end of, irrelevant emails from, brands. It's just very kind of frustrating and annoying, and it clogs your inbox. But when you use personalization, it provides like a selective approach, and it reduces the risk of email fatigue where, recipients could disengage due to receiving too many emails or irrelevant emails. So number 2, personalization helps boost conversions. This is very important. So personalized emails can include offers that are specifically designated for the recipient, such as discounts on products they've viewed but not purchased, or special deals on their birthday. It's these kinds of tailored offers that, not only helps them feel more exclusive, but also directly appeals to the recipient's known preference or personal milestones, which, just encourages them to take action. Personalized emails that cater to the recipient's stage in the customer life cycle, for example, welcome emails or re-engagement campaigns, they can help ensure the message is always relevant to their current relationship with the brand. So that helps just kind of like maximize the potential for conversions at each stage. And then, personalization allows for detailed A/B testing, which, allows you to kind of play with different aspects of the email, such as subject lines, offers, and call to action buttons. By continually refining these elements based on, recipient feedback and behaviors, marketers can enhance the effectiveness of their emails, leading to progressively higher conversion rates over time. Okay, and number 3, personalization can help you build relationships, which is so important for your marketing efforts. Personalized emails often reflect that a brand has paid attention to a recipient's past interactions, preferences, and feedback. By effectively listening to these cues and responding through tailored content, brands demonstrate a commitment to serving their audience's needs, further deepening the relationship. And by using feedback and interaction data to further personalize future communications, brands show that they're adaptable and committed to improvement. It's this kind of responsiveness that reinforces the strength of the relationship. Also, satisfied customers who feel a strong personal connection to a brand are more likely to become advocates, sharing their positive experiences with others. This advocacy further extends the reach of the brand's relationship building efforts. And I don't know about you guys, but when I have a friend or, a peer recommend a brand to me, that's probably the most important way that I would, consider getting involved with the brand. If someone who knows me knows I might like it and they recommend it to me, that's just going to make me very intrigued and want to kind of like, know more about that brand. Okay, so Understanding your audience is fundamental to the success of personalizing your emails, as it lays the groundwork for creating relevant, engaging, and effective communication. So there's various things that you should probably, try to get to know about your audience. There's demographic information, which includes age, gender, and location. Basic demographic details can significantly influence the type of content, products, or services that might be relevant to an individual. There's psychographic information, which is things like interests, hobbies, understanding what your audience enjoys doing in their free time. All of these things can help tailor content that resonates with their personal life. There's behavioral data, which can be purchase history, email engagement, and website browsing behavior. This information can help you send emails that are specific to their purchase patterns and browsing habits. And then, of course, there's customer journey stage. So by tapping into what stage someone is in the customer journey, for example, if they're in the awareness stage, if they're considering using your product or brand, or if they're at the decision level, you can understand if a customer is just learning about your brand or ready to purchase, allowing for messaging that is appropriate to their current needs and mindset. And then there's personal preferences. Some audience members may prefer different types of content, like text over video, or frequency of communication, which can be critical for maintaining engagement. Also, they may have product preferences. So like knowing, which features or types of products appeal to different segments of your audience can guide personalized recommendations. And that is not all. What to personalize in your emails. Okay, so for effective email marketing, personalization can be applied to various parts of an email to enhance engagement, relevance, and the likelihood of conversion. So these are a few components that you should consider personalizing within your email. Obviously, the subject line. That's sort of, the first thing a recipient sees when they receive an email from you. So that's a good place to kind of add some personalization. So maybe you want to include the recipient's name or other personal details in the subject line to kind of grab their attention and increase the open rate. Also tailoring the subject line to reflect the recipient's interests or recent interactions with the brand makes the email feel more relevant and, compelling. There's the salutation. So starting the email with a personalized greeting, such as, hello, and then using the recipient's name makes the communication feel a little bit more direct and personal. And also, maybe acknowledging the recipient's relationship with the brand, like example, thank you for being a loyal customer for 5 years, can really, again, enhance that feeling of connection. And then there's the email content portion of the email. So the body of the email. This part should contain content that is relevant to the recipient's interests, needs, and past behavior as well. This could include personalized product recommendations, services, or content like blog posts that might be of interest to this person. And then there's the offers and promotions. So if you personalize offers and promotions based on the recipient's purchase history, browsing behavior, or loyalty status, you can ensure that the offers are appealing and relevant to each individual you're sending the email to. Highlighting offers like exclusive or specially tailored for the recipient can increase the perceived value and encourage action. Okay, some other areas to personalize within your emails. So there's the call to action portion of the email, which is probably the most important part of the email because it's what you want your recipient to do once they receive your email. So if you can tailor the call to action based on the recipient's stage of the customer journey or past interactions with the brand, that's always recommended. So like, for example, someone who frequently browses a particular product category might receive a CTA related to that interest. We also recommend, making CTAs more effective by adding elements of urgency or exclusivity personalized to the recipient's behavior or preferences, because that just sort of really encourages them to take action. And then there's, images and visuals. This is also a very important part of the email because it's what people's eyes, tend to gravitate towards. If you can personalize images and visuals in the email to match the recipient's interests or demographics, for example, like showing products that the recipient has viewed or, similar items, use You can even use technology to adapt the visuals in the email based on real-time data, such as like weather conditions or local events relevant to the recipient's location. That latter example is probably, obviously more applied towards people within the hospitality or, events industry, but that's just an example. And then there's the signature and from name. Another, I keep saying these are all important parts, but you definitely want the people you're sending emails to feel like your emails are coming from a real person. So customize the from name or email signature to reflect a contact the recipient has previously interacted with, such as a sales rep or a customer service agent, which can just help strengthen the personal connection. And then some, not everybody just wants to include postscripts in their emails, but if you do, it's a good section to add just like a personal touch or a last minute personalized note or offer, which can, catch the eye of a recipient who just happens to be skimming the email. And then there's send times to consider as well. So the send time of the email based on, when the recipient is most likely to open and engage with is, you want to make sure you personalize according to that, because that just enhances the chance of, the email actually being seen and open and acted upon. Okay. So now we're going to discuss leveraging technology for email personalization. It's almost impossible for you to tap into this information without using the power of tech. Marketers can leverage a variety of technologies to enable and enhance personalization in their campaigns. These technologies not only automate many aspects of personalization, but they also provide deep insights and analytics to fine-tune marketing strategies. So I'm going to list a few of these technologies and discuss them so that you can kind of get a feel for what they can do for you in terms of personalization. There's customer relationship management systems or CRM systems. I'm sure a lot of us are familiar with these, but these systems store comprehensive data on each customer, including contact information, purchase history, and interaction logs. Marketers can use this data to segment their audience and tailor messages based on individual customer profiles. So at Benchmark Email, we have a tool called Benchmark One CRM, which helps customers tap into and store customer information so they can leverage it to build stronger relationships. CRMs are so important. It's where basically all of that key detailed information on your customers exists, and it helps you get context on past interactions. So when you're reaching out to these customers, it helps kind of like give you that step ahead in terms of being able to understand what they need and what they might expect from you, so that personalization is that much easier. And then, of course, there's email marketing platforms. So these platforms like Benchmark Email allow marketers to segment their email lists based on various criteria, such as what we mentioned before, demographics, behavior, and purchase history, to send highly targeted emails. So email tools often feature dynamic content capabilities, allowing the content of an email to change based on the recipient's data, ensuring each email is personalized. And in a bit, we'll walk you through how Benchmark Email can help you personalize your email content simply. And then, like I just mentioned, segmented email lists. So with your email marketing platform, you can segment your list and send different copy, salutations, CTAs, and promotions to each segment. So segmentation is probably the easiest way to break down a group of people, AKA your email list, based on the demographics and criteria mentioned in the understanding your audience section. So in doing so, you can target needs more effectively. So email list segmentation is very important. A lot of marketers are, you'd be surprised at how many aren't actually doing it, and they're just sending batch and blast emails. We really don't recommend that. As I mentioned, it's not going to allow you to personalize your emails. And so if you can just take your list, find certain criteria to segment and place people within their various segments, it's going to allow you to personalize your messages a lot easier. Excuse me. And then there's data analytics and business intelligence tools. Analytics tools can track and analyze customer interactions across websites, social media, and emails, providing insights into individual preference and behaviors. And then last but not least, There's artificial intelligence, AI, and machine learning, which I'm sure we've all been looking into and hearing about and using, just because it's really everywhere right now. AI algorithms can predict the most relevant content, products, or services for each customer based on their past behavior and similar customer profiles. So with AI driven natural language processing, AI can analyze customer inquiries, feedback, and social media conversations to understand sentiment and interests, informing more personalized communication. Sounds a little scary, but it's actually very effective and helpful for marketers. Okay, I know I went over a lot, but now I'm going to pass the torch to Irene. She's going to walk you through the various ways you can use benchmark email to send personalized emails to your subscribers. So take it away, Irene.
Hello, everyone. And yes, I'll be helping you guys out on how to use these different personalization tools within our platform. And I'm going to begin by sharing my screen. Hey, Natalie, can you see my screen?
Yes, I can.
Okay. So I do want to start off in the email editor because this is one of the areas where you can personalize the content to your contact list. And like Natalie said, one of the first things that that we suggest for you to do is just add a greeting. Including a contact's name can make a difference in how they feel about this email. Of course, at one point or another, they gave you this information, so they want you to have it, or maybe you just have it. But in either case, you can add the contact's first name. And let me show you how you do this. So in any of the text blocks, we do have an option for personalize, and you can choose from a greeting, contact details, a survey, or the Facebook like button. In this case, we're going to just choose greeting, and let me put it down below so you can see what it comes up like. I'm going to choose greeting, and you have a few options. So by default, we type in, dear, and then first name, but you can change this to hello, hi, greetings, whatever it may be. Now, keep in mind, this is going to pull any of the information in your contact list. So if you have a first name, it's going to say dear dear Irene. But if there's no data for that contact, then instead you can have an alternative greeting, which in this case, it can be greetings, or again, you can change it to anything else. So when I hit insert, it will look something like that. Let me try that one more time. Okay, there we go. So it'll look something like this. It doesn't apply a comma. So if you want to add a comma, you just put in your little comma there, and you can delete the backspace so that, it's right after the first name. But this is how you would add a first name greeting. Now, in the email, aside from the first name, I'm going to leave that there. You can also add, other aspects of this contact, such as, some items that they purchased, or anything related to that contact. As long as you have the information in your contact list, you will be able to pull it in. And for example, this email that I'm creating it for all of my customers who have purchased an item, and maybe in the last year. So in this line here, I'm telling them about the sale, but I'm also telling them, hey, this also includes your favorite item. And the field name for my contact list is titled item purchase. So when they receive this email, it's going to fill it in and say something like, this includes your favorite running shoes. This includes your favorite bathing suit, whatever that may be. And let me show you how you can add this. So let me copy this over. See. Put that there, add a little space. Again, back in the more, in some cases in your screen, it'll show personalized, but because my screen is somewhat minimized, it's not showing it. But we can click on more, go to personalize, and then we can select contact details. Now, if when you select this option, you don't see any of the drop down, that's most likely because your contact list doesn't have any of this information, or doesn't have the data for that specific segment. But otherwise, you would see, this drop down that I see here. And what I'm looking for is the field item purchase. Now, you can also customize the field names in your contact list, and I can always show you how to do that too. But for now, we're going to select item purchased. And do that one more time. There we go. And, so it plugs it in for you, and then you can continue adding, contact data throughout your whole email this way. And again, this is personalizing the email so that when the contact receives it, one, they already saw their first name in the email. So that, that gets a good kind of sense. And then the second part, we're adding an item that they purchased in the past. Now let's go ahead and save and close this area. I'm going to delete this one here so that we don't have a double, but and throughout the email, we are including some CTAs. So here we're saying that, there's a 50% off on all hiking gear from backpacks and whatnot. Then I have the CTA, the discount code. This can be in any form that you like. And then below that, we're talking again a little bit more about another sale, which in my case, anything that's green is going to be on sale. This includes their favorite item, and then again, another CTA. Now, you can also personalize emails with images. So if you know that some of your contacts have purchased, maybe a backpack, maybe some running shoes, maybe some bathing suits, and of course, in your different areas, you can add images here specific to those products. Now, let's go down and, I want to talk a little bit about the content of your email. If you ever get stuck on, what to create or what to write about, I do want to advise, to take advantage of our smart content tool. So this information here, fun facts, all I did was I clicked on our smart content tool here, and I want to show you what I typed in. Oh, this was for the earlier for the 15% off hiking gear, but I can type in also something like, give me some fun facts or fun facts about, St. Patrick's Day. And it can generate that content for you. And then you can just copy the content, bring it over to your email, and then style it to, to fit the style of your email that you have. But we're going to keep scrolling down. And now notice I did something different. So for this specific contact list that I'm sending to, I'm only sending to customers in California, and I'm adding an event related, to maybe where they're located. So this is also something that can entice them to maybe go to your store because there's a parade going on or any other event. So adding events in your email flow, if you're a storefront or somewhere that customers can visit, this could be another way of getting more people to come in or maybe just purchase in general. And now we're going to scroll down, and I did add a line that's personalized here. So something like, thank you for being a loyal customer since. And in my contact list, I have this information, and I want to show you what it looks like just in the contact list outside of Benchmark. So here over on the right side, I have an area where I have when the person joined, 2020, 2008. And this information, when I import into Benchmark email, it is going to import it so I can use it when I send the email out. And this is the same way as earlier when I showed you to go to the personalize, go to contact details, and you're going to look for that field. Again, keep in mind the field has to be in your contact list, otherwise you're not going to see it here. But here I have the year joined. If I select this option and I hit insert, it's going to automatically get added. And when I send the email out, it'll show up as part of their email. Now, one thing that I do want to point out is this email is going to be, number one, sent to all of my customers in California. And two, it's only going to be sent to my customers. And this is another good way to personalize so that maybe, the customers that I'm sending to, they're familiar with who I am. So when the email goes out to them, it's going to come from me. And then also at the end, I have the sincerely from Irene Martinez. So it's just another point like, oh, I spoke with her before, and just, leaves them feeling a little bit better. And I want to show you what this email would look like in the inbox. So here we do have the two, but we have hello, Irene. And then if we go down to look at those other options that we personalize here, we have, this includes your favorite running shoes. Now, you can do this throughout your entire email. Let's go down below. And then here we have, thank you for being a loyal customer since 2008. Only you and that customer would know such information. So again, it's just another little cherry on top, to make it a better experience for that user. So now let's get out of the email editor. And I do want to go over into the contact list and your send time. So let's get save and next here. So now our email design is done, and I want to show you something I did with my contact list. So for my contact list, I have one main list, but out of that main list, I do segment people who have purchased or have had a specific interaction with my service. And in this case, I segmented only my customers, people who have purchased any hiking gear, running gear, and then also, some backpacks. Now, because I want this email to go out only to people I've interacted with, I am excluding, another sales rep from here. And in this case, anyone who is part of the list that belongs to Trisha will not get the email. So, if maybe Trisha wants to do an email of her own, she can do that and her customers wouldn't receive my email. So this is just another good way to personalize the content and keep it, just for your contact. Now, also, if we go down to the from, Natalie mentioned, it's good to like the from name and whatnot. So here I am sending this email out from myself and I'm not putting the company name. You can do that here, but I am going to put my name since they recognize who I am. And down below in the subject line, I am also adding the customer's first name. So something like Happy St. Patrick's Day, Irene joined the celebration. And to do this, you just grab the merge tag and you put it in here. This area here, the first name, this is the field name for that section. So you just plug in your own field name and, you would add it here. And when the person receives the email, it is going to show their first name. If there is no first name, then this part wouldn't show at all. It would just say Happy St. Patrick's Day in the little clover leaf here. So one more thing. Now, I talked a little bit about segmenting, and I do want to show you what that looks like. So here's a list of all of the segments that I have, and I selected this first one here, and I'm going to show you how this is all working. So for example, from my monthly newsletter, I titled it Trisha's Contacts, and I'm going to say, I want anyone who matches the following. So if a contact has Trisha in that data field, then it's going to create a specific list of just those people. So you can do this with any other information that you have. So if you want to create a list of people who have only purchased a backpack, who have only purchased some maybe bathing suits, you can do that. As long as the information is within the list, you will be able to create specific segments of those people. But, moving out of here, and now one of the last things I do want to mention is when you are scheduling your email, make sure that you're sending it at a time that your recipients would most likely open. If these people are in California, for example, we wouldn't want to send it, maybe on Eastern time. So when you schedule your email, you can always do, the send time, let's say 8 o'clock or 8 o'clock a.m. And then you can select the time zone that you're going to send on. So this is just another good way to personalize. You don't want to send it out too early or maybe too late. And because this is the St. Patrick's Day email, we want to send it right around or maybe a week or so before that so they can get it. Or, again, it's going to be based on whatever your needs are. And that is it for this email, and you can also send it out immediately. But I think that is all I have for you today, Natalie. If you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out to our support team and we can always help you out as well.
Okay. Well, thank you so much, Irene. That was wonderful. I wanted to, leave a portion of this webinar to see if anybody had any questions, but I don't see any questions in the Q&A section. The good news is, like I said, we'll be reaching out to you guys with the slides and the recording, as well as, any applicable blog content that can kind of help you with this topic. So if you have any questions, just reply to that email and we'll get back to you and kind of walk you through anything. So thank you so much for joining us today. And, if you aren't already a Benchmark email user, you can sign up for free and, use all the tools that Irene walked you through to start sending personalized emails in, honestly, 15 minutes or less. So thanks again for joining us, everybody. We really appreciate it, and best of luck with your emails. Bye-bye.